Okay, all right, good evening. Sorry, everyone. I think we are ready to start. A call to order, please. Roll call.
Mr. Calvo,
Present.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Present.
Ms. Pacheco,
Present.
Ms. Perez is absent, Mr. Rodriguez,
Present.
Mr. Tuniot,
Present.
and Mr. Zagri is absent. Mr. President, you have enough members to conduct business.
Perfect, thank you. For tonight, we will have Pastor Mark Rodriguez to come up and give us provide the invocation, please, Mark.
Let's pray. Dear God, we come before you today and we thank you for blessing us, Lord, for this day of life. We pray for this meeting, this council meeting today, that you would guide those that are going to make important decisions for our city, for our constituents, Lord. Bless them, bless their families. We thank you for the privilege that we have to live in this city and to raise our families here. In Jesus' name we pray and give you thanks. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Mark. All right, Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Rodriguez. Thank you. Meeting guidelines?
The following guidelines have been established by the city council. All lobbyists must register with the city clerk. As a courtesy to others, please refrain from using cellular telephones or other similar electronic devices in the council chamber. A maximum of 3 speakers in favor and 3 speakers in opposition will be allowed to address the council on any one item. Each speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. No signs or placards in support of or in opposition to one item or speaker shall be permitted within the council chamber. Any person, whether participating via the web platform, telephonic conferencing, or physical presence at City Hall, interested in making comments or posing questions on matters of public concern or on any item on the agenda may do so during the meeting. Members of the public may address the city council on any item pertaining to city business during the comments and questions portion of the meeting. A member of the public is limited to 1 appearance before the city council, and the speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. The public can view public meetings on the city's YouTube page. Members of the public may hear the meeting live through telephonic conferencing using any telephone or cellular phone service. A smart device or computer are not necessary to participate in the meeting if you join by phone. All persons participating via the web platform will be muted during the meeting until called upon to be heard. Participation through Zoom requires a computer or smart mobile device with a microphone and web camera. The participant may elect to participate in the meeting using audio only or appear through both audio and video. The video function of all participants appearing through video will be turned off until called upon to be heard.
Okay, we're going to move over to presentations, but let's start with item B. I know there's a couple kids in here that have to get back home early today, so read item B into the record.
The Hialeah Parks and Recreation Department provides a recap on the inaugural City of Hialeah Miami Heat Junior NBA League.
With the permission of the council and Madam Clerk, if we could combine items A and B, we're going to be presenting them together. So
Should you also read them item A to the record?
Sure. The Hialeah Parks and Recreation Department provides an intercity league update and presentation of the intercity trophy by Hialeah's victorious basketball championship team.
thank you all. And I think we had a PowerPoint presentation. And do you have that clicker? Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, Steve Diaz, Department of Parks and Recreation, 900 East 56th Street.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. GM Barzaga, Parks and Rec Supervisor, 900 East 56th Street. I want to first and foremost thank you for the opportunity to present tonight. We're going to start off by playing a video from our newest program, which is our Junior NBA League. You gotta be doing some beatboxing in the back, so.
By the way, as the video is showing, a shout out to our special events and communications team for putting this together. This was a great promo opportunity for the league, and it was something really cool that we were able to share on social media. So thank you for putting that together for us.
All right, so I think as you could tell from the video with the lack of music, this video, the league focuses on creating memories and experiences for our participants. This is something that we're trying to establish and create as a norm for our Parks and Rec programming. This is obviously near and dear to my heart. I grew up in the parks as a 9-year-old who had just gotten here from Cuba. The parks were often my aftercare, the staff, my tutors, and my, sports were my escape. So over the past 9 months, we've made a shift within Parks and Recreation to bring back the experiences to our residents and our participants, which led us to introduce South Florida's very first junior NBA league. In our launch, our league was the third largest in the country with 165 participants and the only of its kind in South Florida. We are the only, till date, the only Parks and Rec department in the nation with a junior NBA league. We provided an all indoor league for only $65, which the most affordable league compared to any league you could find in the county. So in the Tri-County, we're the most affordable league at only $65, with that including uniforms and games and transportation to games. With the resounding success of this league, the NBA and the junior NBA has now asked us to assist in launching their leagues across the US to help them achieve the same success. This is thanks to Ms. Alice Arrieta, who helped us put together this media day. So because of this momentum, we've been able to translate this into our recreational league, which just kicked off on Friday, February 23rd, with a new record high in participation for basketball and cheerleading at 500 registered participants, with a 95% resident participation, with a low cost of only $35 per season. Once again, that's including transportation. And I think this is very important because in a time where recreation sports are diminishing across the nation, especially amongst parks and recreation departments, travel sports have claimed the spotlight. Hialeah has a long tradition and historic tradition of affordable in-house programming, which I think after these efforts, we've been able to not only revive, but reimagine our parks and recreation programming altogether. Within this rebuild, we've been able to add more games, move games indoors. We've most importantly, I think, activated our facilities on the weekends. You now can pass by any park, whether it's a Saturday or a Sunday, and you'll find parents, you'll find kids actually using our parks and our parks being open. Now, thankfully, with the assistance of the mayor's office, we've been able to get access to local high school gyms, which is going to allow us to bring our travel aspect to our league by inviting play with other municipalities to participate in intercity league play. To go into further detail about the intercity league play, I'll pass it over to Steve Diaz.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council, and thank you, Gian. As Gian mentioned, we've concluded the preliminary steps to building a recreational experience like none other by introducing intercity play through tournament play first. These tournaments are in an effort to partner with neighboring park and recreation agencies to provide an intercity youth sports league that promises a combination of recreational play and travel play. The ultimate goal is to have multiple local Miami-Dade County cities align their sports cycles to encourage intercity exhibition play and eventually create a multi-sport collaboration that benefits the youth of all of our communities. To date, Hialeah, along with the assistance of mainly Miami Springs and Doral, has hosted 3 youth basketball tournaments. And with an extra push from Mayor Bovo and meeting with several cities regarding our vision, we've successfully recruited a total of 15 local cities who have shown interest in being a part of this initiative. We hosted the first tournament at Bucky Dent Park, and a total of 10 teams from around the county participated in that one. Miami Springs hosted the second tournament with a total of 6 teams participating in that. And then Doral hosted the most recent tournament and the third tournament, which had 11 participating teams. And I'm happy to announce that the third time was the charm for Hialeah, and we were able to win the 2023 winter tournament this past December. So a round of applause for some of our players that are here today. The next steps basically from here on out are, you know, as Gian alluded to earlier, we are currently in talks with some of our neighboring cities. We've already gotten confirmation from Doral, Miami Springs, West Miami, and Opelika in terms of spearheading this is the exhibition play. We just launched our youth basketball league a few days ago, and we're happy to announce that they are also within the same time frame as us, so it's going to be easy to sort of incorporate exhibition travel play with those cities. Hopefully, with a few more to be jumping on board soon. But this is just the beginning of a vision that I know has been spearheaded by our mayor with regards to creating a unique, you know, recreational aspect. And with that, we'd like to call up the junior NBA champions and the intercity league champion or tournament champions. If you all don't mind, just for a quick photo opportunity.
Let's do each champion separate.
Sure.
Okay, and let's go down, take a picture with them.
You want to call up first? You want to do it by?
We'll do 6 and 8. Bring your 6 and 8. We'd also like to present the council and the mayor, you know, for all your help and all your cooperation throughout the season. Some jerseys from our first inaugural junior NBA season, so you guys can keep it as a little bit of a token, frame it in your office, whatever you like. Yeah, you know, 12, 14. Bring in the all-star team of this league as well as the inner city champs. Every time you start. Great. Yeah. Okay. Outside. The youngest one.
Thank you all for your continued support.
Coaches. Say one of the coaches for a picture with me. All the coaches.
Mr. President, if I might, before we continue,
Yes, sir.
I wanted to acknowledge the Park and Rec guys, and, you know, I get to see them now on an ongoing basis because my son participates in the league, and I see the dedication, not just to coach them sports and teach them, but they also are trying to teach them collaboration, life lessons, and it's really fantastic to watch them interact with the kids. You know, this has been, I think, ongoing in the city of Hialeah for a long, long time. A lot of the interaction that people have with the city starts with our parks program, and these gentlemen and the ladies that work at the park program really do a fantastic job. But I also want to take the moment, if we could, to acknowledge the parents that are allowing their kids to participate in our programs. I think Steve mentioned, you know, 500 kids participating, and we're leaving kids out because of facilities that we need. And, you know, we all have relationships with the school board. You could all help. I keep saying that we've got gyms that are not in use at Miami Lakes, at Westland High, at other places that we need to collaborate to put that in place so that we could have more kids involved in the program. You know, to me, it's a symptom of parents wanting their kids to be involved in these activities. It's the kids wanting to be involved in these activities, and they bought into this idea of an inner city play where we collaborate with others that, you know, just want to give an avenue for all these kids. There's a lot of talent here in the city of Hialeah. A lot of these kids are going to go on and play high school basketball, and I'm sure some are going to go on and play college basketball. There is a lot of talent, and it all starts with these guys here in front of us. So again, guys, appreciate the work that you do. I see it on a daily basis. Keep up the good work, and let's keep growing this thing, okay? What side you on there? Small. Small. Flatter, but it ain't working.
Mira, róbale de tu video that's medium, at least.
All right.
Those mono
All right. Item C, please.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry about that, brother.
This is just a quick recap, and then
Yeah,
we'll
no, I
land the plane. Sorry,
apologize.
guys. I just want to also mention some of our other rec programs as it pertains to, youth activities going on at our parks. As you all know, we do have the Miami Marlins over at Babcock Park. They just finished their registration and they're opening their season. They maxed out at their capacity at 145 kids. We're ecstatic about that news. The partnership there has been near flawless in terms of communication and the efforts between both parties, putting forth an affordable baseball program for our kids. We also have our recreation cheerleading program, which kind of coincides with the rest of our youth sports. Currently, we have 80 girls registered at different sites around the city. And usually what they do is they'll, plan different events, whether it's alongside basketball or flag football, things like that. Or they'll have like cheer nights where they have cheer specific events. So another great program that we do offer there.
We also have our dance program and our beach tennis program over at Goodland Park. We're hoping to revamp our cultural arts department. So we hope next year we come and do this presentation, and we have some wonderful news about our cultural arts program as we continue to progress with that. But they do have 70 kids registered for a drumming class that we just started this year. And we're also starting to kick off some hip hop and ballet dances again. As far as beach tennis, that's what I'm mentioning.
Yeah, beach tennis, that's actually offered for youth and adults. For youth, we have about 15 participants registered for that, and for adults, about 25. That also takes place at Goodland Park in the sand volleyball courts area there. So next slide, please. And then we also have our wonderful aquatics program, which you all know about. We have both swim lessons for our youth, and we also have various swim programs in terms of like water polo. We have synchronized swimming and so forth. That program has basically been around for years and years on end. Is very popular, and they do amazing work at their swim meets. We also have play boxing that takes place at Kotzen Park, which is not a full contact sport, but basically using boxing techniques to kind of increase agility and confidence levels and things like that. And the gentleman that oversees that program, Mari, has been wonderful with us and does great things with the youth in our community there. Next slide. And that basically concludes our presentation. Thank you so much again for your support. We, on behalf of the Department of Parks and Recreation, we really, appreciate the efforts from our mayor and council. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
All right. Item C, please.
Mayor Bobo recognizes Love Unlimited Church offering services in Hialeah for their 5th anniversary.
Mayor?
Mr. President, thank you, and council. When we talk about community and we talk about the city of Hialeah, obviously we talk a lot about what goes on as far as our parks programs is, our residents, the quality of life of our residents. And it dawns on me that what makes a community special is really the folks that inhabit the community. Love Unlimited has a unique situation in it that in its search to find a home, which I believe they're still looking for a permanent home, have been able to collaborate with the city and use space at our parks. I think it's Goodlet, no? At Goodlet to offer services for our community and really also for the city directly, the city of Hialeah, and its police officers, its firefighters, its community in essence. And Pastor Mark is the straw that stirs the drink at Love Unlimited. And, you know, we're honored to have him here today. He has a presentation, but we also want to do something for him also, so.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Honorable Council, men and women, on behalf of our church. I just want to say thank you. In 2019, we started our church and we had great momentum. Things were going great. We celebrated 1 year anniversary and then the pandemic hit and we were homeless. We weren't able to meet. We weren't able to gather. And in a moment of frustration, sadness, I was reminded what Jesus said in the book of John, the Gospel of John. And he said that God is no longer gonna inhabit in buildings, but in people, and that we were the church. And we went to the streets. We started feeding hungry people. We started providing PPE at the time. And that led us to begin serving the city through the police, serving the council, even unfortunately, doing a couple funerals for employees and police officers and their family. And then about 1.5 years ago, the city opened its doors to us and welcomed us. I'm a son of Hialeah, was born and raised here. My 3 children, they go to Cohia as well. So we are embedded in this community. We love this community. We're grateful. We're grateful for the words in your chamber that say, "In God we trust." We put our trust in God and God led us here. And so on behalf of our church, I'd like to give a little recognition to the mayor and the city. And I'd like to read a verse that's on this plaque. And it's a blessing that God gave to the first priest, and every service ended this way. In the book of Numbers, it says, "The Lord bless you and the Lord keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace." Amen. And so, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to present this to you.
So go down.
Yeah.
Pastor, I think we learned a lot during the pandemic. We learned a lot about a community, and I saw incredible things during the pandemic of people coming together, of people kind of just helping each other out. It was it's weird because I know we say that God works in mysterious ways, and his hand was here and involved, and you saw community coming together, you saw people helping each other. Yes, there was pain. We saw folks leave far too early than they should have. But perhaps in that mysterious way, that unity that was bringing folks together, helping each other, spoke volumes. And you guys were in the middle of that mix. I saw you numerous times, different places, serving the community, helping folks. You know, those of us that were healthy and we had to count our blessings to be out there and helping. And so the fact that Love Unlimited is here in our community, is serving our community, helping, it has not gone unnoticed. And we have a proclamation acknowledging the 5 years of service. Look forward to more to come. And on behalf of the city employees, on behalf of the city council, I extend my warm, our love, our respect, and our gratitude for everything that you've done for our city, and look forward to many more years, my brother.
Okay. Moving on to city clerk comments and questions.
There's no one registered to speak on this section of the meeting, sir.
Okay, what, you could speak and then just register afterwards, Ms. Herrera. Thank you. And Melissa, just when she's done. Okay. No, hit the button. Is it green?
Now?
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Good evening, Millie Herrera, 4341 East States Lane. I really wasn't going to come tonight, but I hurried up and I did hear the park thing, so I wanted to. I was coming from the post office back home a little after 5 o'clock today on 41st Street, East 41st Street and Lejeune, and I saw the police officers and I thought, this is good. Maybe they're cleaning up all these real serious issues we have here, but they told me that there was a little girl that was lost. So I hope they found her. Oh, I got home and prayed for a little girl because that really scared me. We have a lot of issues, you know that, officer, on 41st Street, 8th Court. For many, many years. The mayor knows this since 2006. You remember, Mayor? We have cars that are parked in front of this shopping center that have stayed there for months. In fact, there is one car that is crashed that even has trash underneath already. Through 8th Court, there's cars parked and no one knows where they are. Just before the shooting of this young man on 8th Lane on the other side of 49th where I live, there were neighbors on the other side and in the corner that called me to see if I could knock on doors and find out where all these cars are because they couldn't find where to park in front of their house because the community seeks me out. I recommended, let's call the police. Nobody wants to call the police. We have to report it to the city. Nobody wants to report it to the city. But I'm here to say that we do have some serious issues on East 41st, 8th Court, 43rd Street. And I sent pictures to Cesar Mestre, Attorney Cesar Mestre. I don't know if he's here tonight. Okay, Cesar is very aware of a zoning change because he was the lawyer for Benencourt, Mr. Benencourt, on the corner of 8th Court and 43rd. And they moved the flattener, then a street flattener, but they broke the whole thing and now there's a whole big of a mess. In that corner, we have a problem because there was this yellow construction kind of paver parked there and you couldn't even see. The stop sign fell again. On the other side on my street on 43rd, there's a street sign. Do you believe that the neighbors will not even pick this up? I walk up and down my block picking up trash. Once a week, twice a week. We have to find out where all these cars are coming from. They're just, even without license plates sometimes. And another problem on 10th and 43rd. So this is in East Hialeah, East 43rd Street, and East 41st Street. One of the issues that started this was the apartment buildings in the apartment buildings behind the shopping center. When they build these apartment buildings and the Mario boat lift came, you're talking about problems. We had drug dealers in that neighborhood. And we cleaned it up. We really did. We really cleaned up the shopping center. They really did. And the last 15 years it started, it got a little better around 2010, 2011, but the last 2 years, I really believe that we need the police involved and find out where these cars are, who these men are walking at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to also make a notation. There is a clothes dumping, donation box across the street from Molina Restaurant. It needs to be removed. I have a picture of two guys who came out from behind the shopping center, crossing the street, and they went behind that old abandoned house across the street from Molina, which is another issue there.
And there's a what, would you said? You said there's a dump? What was it?
It's a donation box, but it really doesn't serve a purpose. Anything you donate there has to be thrown away
Okay.
because
And it's out in the open?
I have pictures.
Okay.
And I sent them to Rene Garcia.
Okay.
I sent him a lot of stuff.
All right.
People share things. I try to share to make elected officials aware. And sometimes the only way is through text or social media.
Hmm.
So anyways, I wanted to bring that up and I hope that I'm glad the little girl was found.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Herrera. All right. Any other comments and questions online? Okay. All right. Announcements of amendments.
The backup documentation to consent items L and M have been updated to correlate to the correct resolution.
Okay. Board appointments.
Proposed resolution reappointing Carlos San Jose as the mayor's representative to the Board of Trustees of the Employees General Retirement System for a 2-year term beginning on January 1st, 2024, and ending on December 31st, 2026, and providing for an effective date.
Motion.
All right. We have a motion by the Vice President. Second. We have a second by Rodriguez.
Mr. Tumnidor,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes.
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco, Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
All right. Consent agenda. Does anyone have any items to pull?
Items H and I.
H and I. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, do we have a motion by the Vice President, second by Rodriguez?
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Tumnidor.
Yes.
Motion carries. The consent agenda has passed except items H and I.
All right, item H.
Proposed resolution waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the mayor, his designee, and the city clerk as attesting witness on behalf of the city for the purchase of after-hours emergency services, approving the expenditure in the amount not to exceed $35,000 to Sunshine Communication Services and providing for an effective date.
Okay, Councilman Calvo?
Thank you. Director, would you be able to walk me through, I guess what I'm understanding is that this is some service that we would be providing after hours, in case somebody has an emergency and they would essentially be like a call center. And are they locally based?
Good evening, council. Yes, it's fundamentally a call center activity and it goes from about 5 in the afternoon till 7 or 8:30 in the morning. I've been giving both answers and on the weekends.
Okay.
So there's full coverage.
All right. And they're locally based in Hialeah and.
I only saw that they lived within 1 block of when I first came to Miami, which is on Madeira Street in Coral Gables.
Okay.
But I assume that they're local.
All right. And do we know if they're bilingual?
I cannot say for certain, but would think they are, but I'm not called it.
Okay. How did we arrive at this vendor?
I know that they have been in place for over 5 years. I don't know the history prior to my getting there.
Okay.
I do know that we spend between 50 and 60 $1,000 a year getting this coverage.
Got it. Because this wasn't put out to bid, right? This was just. I mean, it doesn't really show that it's a renewal on my end. Is it a renewal or is this a brand new purchase order?
So I've been told that each year for the last couple of years, that's all anyone had a memory of, that it's come before the board in the same form, which is a waiver.
Okay. Do we have any metrics on how they're doing?
We know about how many calls they average they take a night, which seems to be 8 to 10, and then maybe a few more on the weekends. And the job's pretty simple. They take a message from normally a resident, and then they call the individual who's on call, and that person makes a determination as to whether there'll be work done that night or not.
Hmm. So the individual that's on call is essentially a laborer, right? That would go and would they do the work in the evening during or the weekend, or they more than likely pick it up when the shift starts the next?
That's a determination made by whomever's on call. If it's seems to be wastewater flooding, it's at home, they say they always go
Mhm.
out. If it's a minor leak, they tend to wait till the morning, particularly if it needs a crew. So they're more sensitive to homeowners who have wastewater issues than other issues.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be interesting to see, if it is the 8 to 10 calls, how many of those are, I would say, people just dialing the number in error, how many of those are genuine calls, and how many of those get followed up on. I mean, it is obviously not the most expensive contract in the world, but it is $35,000. I'm wondering if there's a way to optimize that a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not
It
opposed
seems-
to
it
any of
seems
these
like-
being bid out. Some of
Yeah.
them just happen to be so small, and maybe the procurement department would speak on it. We know
Yeah.
what they've cost in previous years. They do a good job, but
Yeah, it
just
just
kinda
seems like it's
continue.
something that we're just reauthorizing just because it's been done before, but I'd wondered if there's a better way to do it. That's essentially my question.
yeah, if the council at some point, if it's their will to bid it out, we would have no issue with it. We would
Yeah,
need a
or-
little bit of preparation to make sure that, to get a document out.
Right, or potentially, maybe this is something that we can handle in-house. I mean,
It's
It
so
is.
cheap that, I mean, honestly, they don't
Yeah.
charge for a full person just sitting there the whole time. They charge you on how many calls they take in the minutes, and
yeah,
it's a pretty cost-effective service.
yeah. Yeah, but I guess, I mean, we already have somebody on call regardless. I wonder. Right. Seems like we have a middleman. Maybe that's not necessary, right? Maybe it's as easy as you're on call, you get some sort of bonus, and the calls get routed to you, and you have some sort of city cell phone. I mean, I don't know. Just
It
throwing-
it would be,
spitballing.
it would be my bet you might not want the same individual doing both jobs.
Yeah,
I'll leave it at that.
yeah. Well, maybe, right? Who knows? Yeah, if we can, I mean, I'm fine with it today, but if we can kind of look into that for next year or at any point before then, that'd be great.
Sure, no
Yep.
issue with that.
Thank you. That's all for me. Motion?
All right, motion by Councilman Calvo.
Second.
We have a second by the Vice President. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robles,
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Tumnido.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Item I.
Proposed resolution waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the mayor, his designee, and the city clerk as a testing witness on behalf of the city for the purchase of utility billing materials, approving the expenditure in an amount not to exceed $69,470 to RNC Management Incorporated, providing for an effective date.
Mr. Calvo.
Thank you. So Director, if I'm understanding this right, it's saying that it's about $70,000. And that's for a 1-year period, or is that as materials run out?
Gosh, I was hoping to pawn this off on procurement, but it was the wrong item. Sorry. I thought it was the roof. I'm sorry. Could you ask your question again?
Yeah, no, so this is for the envelopes.
Right.
For the bills. It's about 70,000. I'm asking if this is a 1-year period, or is this as materials
It is
run
not.
out?
It's basically that we are about to run out. It takes us through September. A better estimate for entire year is maybe $110,000 to $120,000.
How many of our customers are currently paperless?
I
Signed
don't,
up for paperless?
I don't think
if any.
we are, yeah, we're not paperless. People, I mean, people pay electronically, but we don't. We're not
Because
paperless.
so before the meeting, I went on the website and we do have an option, it's on there at least, to get the statement emailed to you and opt out of getting the mailed copy. But you have to really dig for it to find it. It's not, like every other company, they'll throw it on the homepage and they'll say, hey, go paperless, go paperless.
Yeah,
They
and then
push
they
it a lot.
prefer it, right?
And like, for example, AT&T, they'll give you like a $5 credit if you go paperless. I wonder if that's something that we should be doing. I mean, if it's 70,000 only through September, certainly there is some number of six-figure number that we could be saving potentially. I
I'll
think-
ask to see how, that's a good question. I'll ask to see how effective it is with the folks who are getting it by email, and we can feature that.
Yeah.
Believe it or
especially-
not, I've never,
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
not
the
aware of
people that
anyone
are
choosing it.
already paying electronically, that would be an easy. I mean, especially if we could offer like a $5 bump up. I don't know what this translates to. If you did this
Yeah.
twice, that's 140,000. We have 60,000 accounts. Maybe you're only offering $2 or $3, so maybe it's not that much, but
yeah, I think it would be less. If it's 120,000, we have 60,000 people we bill pretty much
Yeah,
every
yeah,
month.
yeah.
It comes down to,
right.
Right. Nothing.
Well, there's
But
some labor cost too.
Yeah,
right?
it'd be better not to print if people are willing
And
to
is
take a look.
postage included in this?
No, we do have separate postage.
Okay, so if you add labor, postage, bennies, and this, yeah, you could probably do something.
Be glad to look at the number.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure of the board.
Motion.
Motion by the Vice President,
Second.
second by Calvo.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor.
Yes.
Mr. Calvo.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
All righty, 11A.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance granting a perpetual easement to the Florida Department of Transportation within the city's right-of-way for the purpose of constructing, installing, and maintaining a traffic signal mast arm, foundation, pole boxes, and signalization hardware, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, this item's in second reading. Do you have any public comments? Online,
No, sir.
in the chamber? It's the pleasure of the board.
Motion.
Motion by the Vice President. Second. We have a second by Rodriguez.
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor.
Yes.
Mr. Calvo.
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
All right, 11B.
Proposed resolution admonishing the 46th President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden Jr. and his administration for existing open borders and immigration policies, effectively having a negative impact on the city of Hialeah and Miami-Dade County, Florida, and providing for transmittal to the Executive Office of the President of the United States, the Secretary of State, the Office of the Vice President of the United States, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, the President of the United States, Senate, the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, State Representative Alex Rizzo, Senator Brian Avila, and U.S. Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart.
Right?
Chair.
Yes, sir.
Well, first of all, Mayor, thank you for your support in co-sponsoring this item. Thank you for your leadership in this regard, and for hosting yesterday the Immigration Forum. My apologies for not being able to attend. We were in a trial. But I wanted to read just a couple brief things into the record, some hard facts. This is coming from Pew Research Center. So the U.S. Border Patrol, and this is very recent from this month, it says the U.S. Border Patrol had nearly 250,000 encounters with migrants crossing into the United States in December of 2023. So I want to make that clear. In 1 month, December of 2023, we had 250,000, 250,000 migrants coming in through the southern border in Mexico. This is the highest monthly total on record, previously eclipsing the previous record, which had been set in May of 2022. So the interesting thing is, and you can see it on the news quite certainly, especially on some of these social media platforms, although these migrants are coming in, unfortunately, nobody's stopping them. And so there was something called Title 42. Title 42 was a policy that was enacted under the Trump administration. And what it did was it cited a very seldomly used portion of the health code, which enabled officers at the border to not only detain migrants, but to turn them around and send them back to where they were coming from. Unfortunately, the Biden administration decided to end Title 42 in May of 2023, some 7 or 8 months ago. And that's when you really started seeing this surge that we're experiencing right now. Going further through this article, most of the encounters at the U.S.-Mexico border, and this is very interesting, involves migrants traveling as single adults. So 54% of the folks that are coming in through the southern border are single adults. while only 41% are groups traveling in families. There's been a shift, and this is also interesting, between where these migrants are coming from. So historically, you see most migrants coming from Mexico, certainly some of the Central American nations of El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras. But by now, December of 2023, when this research was conducted, 54% of the people that were crossing the border did not come from these nations. So where did they come from? Well, Venezuela actually stands out. Nearly 47,000 out of the 250,000 migrants were citizens of Venezuela. That is up from 6,000 year over year. So 6,000 people were coming in December of 2022 from Venezuela. Now it's 47,000. They're the second largest group. Then you also have citizens of China. Citizens of China, the Border Patrol reports that nearly 6,000 of them are from China, up from just a couple hundred a year prior. It's estimated that here in the United States, nearly 45% of Americans say that they've been impacted by this recent migration, and they define this migration as a crisis, quote unquote, or a major problem. I can tell you here from personal conversations that I've had within the city of Hialeah, and I've spoken to, for example, people in the construction industry, where there was, let's say a few months ago, 20 folks that were licensed professionals, whether that's an AC repairman, an electrician, or what have you, and they were working on a construction project where there were 20, now there's only 3 or 4 that are licensed and working on that project, because those remaining slots, those 15, 16 other slots, are now being filled by migrants who are willing to work at oftentimes half or even a third of the hourly rate that a licensed professional in our community is charging. And obviously they're doing that work unlicensed. We've seen, and this council has seen, some of the ramifications surrounding the RVs, the homelessness, the increased stress on our emergency services. And so certainly this is an ongoing conversation. Again, I thank the mayor for his leadership on that. But moreover than that, although this is quite a symbolic gesture, I think we need to be very clear, and I think we're being clear today at the federal level, and certainly among our representatives here locally, that this is a situation that is impacting Hialeah one way or another. We're trying our best, but largely the failures come from above. And certainly something needs to be done that is beyond our immediate control, but something needs to be done to remedy this situation in a very, I want to say, direct and competitive manner. So with that being said, I would urge my colleagues to support this proposal and pass this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor?
Yeah, and as you well know, we had the first of what I expect is going to be a couple more meetings. At the next meeting on March 11th, we will have various churches here that's working in this space that could share with us what they're seeing and how they're interacting with folks that may be coming and are coming into our community. We will also have representation from the school system. We're still working with Congressman Diaz-Balart. As you could well imagine, some federal agencies are very hesitant to speak to the council or to the city. Quite honestly, quite frankly, I don't think they have any idea of how many numbers we're talking about. All of it is being guesstimation. I would ask, Councilman, if we could add a whereas clause that speaks to the ongoing workshops that the city is doing. Because I think it's important that at some point when we communicate to the federal government, I hope to be able to do it with some data that shows that there is an impact. What that number is, I don't know. I really don't know. Okay. And I think I want to repeat it because I know it gets out on, different formats and people want to fix a number to it. I don't know what the number is. The number could be 50,000. It could be 80,000. It could be more than that. I don't know what the number is, but there are people coming. And as I've said numerous times, while New York and Chicago and LA and San Francisco become the metropolises that get all the publicity, there are cities just like Hialeah, that are dealing with this issue. You know, RVs is a symptom, traffic is a symptom, rents going out of control is a symptom. Kids getting into our school system where the school system was caught flat-footed is a symptom. Petty crime, as our chief shared with us at yesterday's meeting, an uptick in petty crime, an uptick in homelessness, but not the Skid Row homelessness that one attributes. Some are employed, gainfully employed, but not with first and last month rent. These are all symptoms, which I think all of you heard me say in numerous occasions. Our city government, our local government is not equipped for this kind of service. We provide police, fire, cut grass, give programs for our kids to participate. And the danger here is that if we start then having to go into our city coffers and create programs for accommodation, we'll never end. We'll never end. The money will never end. We'll have to continue to feed it. So I think this is a valuable tool, Councilman, to be able to communicate to also the federal government that there's going to be a need of money if we could substantiate the numbers that we believe. And that's why I think just adding a whereas clause that the city is, and I don't know, I could get to some language or something that we could add.
If it's acceptable to the sponsor and the council, maybe something to the effect of, whereas the city is conducting ongoing workshops to compile information as to the local impacts of these recent migrations on the city or upon the city.
Yeah, without
Some-
objection.
Okay.
And just to wrap it up to very short analogies, I think you're totally right. I mean, obviously these New Yorks and Chicagos, they get all the attention, but I was watching recently, there's a city, a small city in Texas where they're totally overwhelmed. Their population is something like 40,000 people, and they receive something like 40,000 migrants a month going through that city. Their hospital is like completely unusable. I mean, it's a total crisis in that community. And I saw recently, I think it was today, this morning or last night, that I saw that in New York, Mayor Adams said that they wanted to pull back on the sanctuary city policy because New York is just totally overrun with the situation. So
They were giving 10 grand, no? 10 grand per,
so yeah, without objection to the amendment, and I urge everybody to support. Thank you.
If I may, real quick, Kevin, do you mind at some point, maybe getting us some information on the, on solid waste? What has the tonnage looked like for the last couple of years? I don't know, from now and all of 23, 22, maybe you can go back to 21 on average. What was the weight of that? Because I think, with water, there's tricks that people do and all that, but they got to throw their trash out somewhere, right? So I think if you get us those numbers, that'll be great. And if the sponsors don't mind, I'd like to also co-sponsor this with you all. And you're good with it? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I mean, through the chair, Brian, I went to Texas and I did see it. It was scary. I know the media is not going to cover this conversation we're having right now because, it's empty. But, the solution is to vote November. The right person. That's Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
And that's the only solution I can see. I mean, the workforce is horrible. I see it. I work for a private enterprise. I'm telling you, it's very difficult to get people out there. So the solution is to vote correctly. I did see it with my own two eyes. It was pretty bad. And it's just amazing. Yes. And I want to say probably in Home Depot, at least 90%, not this, I'm talking about Texas. I'm talking about 90% were men. You understand? And it's different. It's different. Very anti-American is what I'm seeing now. So just thank you for doing this, guys. Motion. Oh, second. I don't know.
We have a motion by Rodriguez.
Second.
We have a second by the vice president.
You want a motion, perhaps?
No,
No, we're good.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved as amended.
All right, congratulations. Unfinished business? Do we have any new business?
I just, I don't know if this falls under unfinished or new business, just a couple of reminders. The city is still conducting its workshops, as far as, the input from our residents to kind of, draft a master plan. And I gotta tell you, from all accounts, it's been well received and well attended. Next week, Tuesday, March 5th, there'll be the fourth one, which will be at Goodlet from 5:30 to 7:30. So all of you that may be listening, you're more than welcome to come. There's refreshment activities to kids, but they don't mean you while you're there, but important so that folks can kind of help guide and the destiny of our city and input the things that they'd like to see part of this master plan. The following day on Wednesday, this would be March 6th. So this one's March 5th at Goodlet. The next day, Wednesday, March 6th, we got to check. I think there's basketball that night from 5:30 to 7:30 at Bucky Dent Park. Another meeting, and then the last meeting would be at Babcock Park, just down the street here on March 7th. So March 5th, Goodlet, 5:30 to 7. March 6th, Bucky Dent, 5:30 to 7, and then March 7th, 5:30 to 7 at Babcock Park. And the last thing, again, I wanted to thank Councilman Rodriguez. The workshop with regards to food trucks is March 4th, if I'm not mistaken. What time is that? 10 o'clock at Mylander, right? Oh, here now. Okay, all right, here. And obviously, if you can, through your social media, or if you go to a food truck here in the city, encourage them to come so that they can participate. And I want them to be, part of the creation of whatever possible ordinance comes out. So thank you, Councilman, for that.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you for that. Do we have any other new business?
Through the chair, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to discuss, I visited a mobile home park a few days ago on West 16th Avenue and 32nd Street. And the residents, they have concerns about homeless individuals that are living inside the mobile home park. There's a woman with 2 children that's living there. And they have reported an increase in criminal activity. Yet they would like to have the support, or at least some type of surveillance, even at least once per night from the police, but they've been informed that it's private property, so police doesn't really enter the premises. I just wanted to bring forward these concerns to see if there's anything that can be done to help out these residents so they can feel a little bit safer.
If you would just provide the address of the area, I'll be more than happy to take a look at it. There are some areas that not that we ignore, but it's a little different when there's private communities. But I'd like to see what the nature of the situation is. So if you could please just communicate that to my office, we'll be more than happy to take a look.
Okay, yes, and also I would like to add that right behind the Lowe's, there are homeless people living there, and that's brought an increase in crime to the area. So it's all connected, it's all related. And they're right by the Lowe's.
Okay.
All right. Any other new business? Okay. I'd like to bring something up. I feel like I have to, because it kind of, it does mention me and it mentions others on this dais, but today we received an email from a private individual regarding a cease and desist to a council member here. And I bring it up because it's probably one of the most embarrassing things I've had to deal with.
It's embarrassing.
And so let me finish for a second. Let me finish for a second. And so this individual that we're talking about is a man on the Affordable and Workforce Housing Task Force that we have here in the city, Hialeah, a man by the name of Michael Woe. And this is a man that had a prior company whose subcontractor had an issue with the funds that's being discussed. But this is a person who has built over 10,000 award-winning workforce housing units. This is someone who lectures at the University of Miami about affordable and workforce housing. He chairs the Urban Land Institute Center for Workforce Housing. Sounds like a little more detailed than Hialeah's Affordable Task Force. What's happened in the last couple of weeks, probably, and I'll be honest with you, probably since you got on, has been, in my opinion, extremely pathetic in the sense that we are setting a very, very dangerous practice, very dangerous precedent. The last thing we want is to have individuals, professionals, afraid of coming to the city Hialeah to give a helping hand, to develop policies and help us move forward, right? We have to understand that all task force, right? Because Hialeah is not unique to task force, right? All task force consists of subject matter experts, right? Attorneys, right? And Calvo will tell you how much an attorney would charge, right? $300, $400, $500, $600 an hour, right? These are folks that are coming in here giving us a hand, okay, for free. We continue to do this. And 1 second, Millie, please don't get out of order, please. I'm asking you, you've done a great job. So the thing is, I'm trying to really wrap my head around, how is this task force, just like many other hundreds of other task force, how is this bad, right? Every other municipality, every other county, right, has the same program. That same program has been designed and developed the same way we are doing it today. For Christ's sakes, Miami-Dade County leverages land every single year to be able to develop and offer more affordable and workforce housing to the residents of Miami-Dade County. For Christ's sakes, the state offers state housing funds, subsidized housing to be able to build on different land. So I'm really conflicted. I really don't understand what it is that honestly that you're trying to do. I know that sometimes when we don't have much to do and maybe we don't bring a lot of things of substance, we resort to things like this, right? To be able to call the media, whatever the case is. From the very beginning, going after this initiative is the initiative that I sponsored. You put up my picture on your little petition along with the mayor. So as far as I'm concerned, it kind of feels like you're going after me. I don't know, maybe if I should go to and go running and crying to Marie Liciano. But the thing is, I want to understand that I want to understand what goes on through your mind. But yeah. So I'll tell you this. I really do hope. I hope that we can move forward and stop playing these pathetic games and really one more. Please, I'm asking you one more time, and you're gonna have to be escorted, please. All right. So I hope we can move forward. I hope we can move forward and get to work for the city of Hialeah. 1 second, Millie, that's it. We're not open for public comments at this moment. Okay, but that's it. Okay. So I wanted to put that on the record.
Are you done with your?
Go
long
ahead,
speech,
go ahead,
Mr.
go
President?
ahead, ma'am.
I can't believe I have to really, really give it to you. You are very brave in the sense that you dare come here with that joke. This Mr. Michael Hole, however you pronounce his name, at the time of this investigation was the principal of Pinnacle Housing Group, the president of Pinnacle Housing Group. Pinnacle Housing Group created the other company, Dax, the concrete company, which inflated the cost of concrete with the sole purpose of embezzling funds, of obtaining funds that otherwise they would not have had any right to obtain. They were investigated. He admitted his responsibility in the scheme. They entered into a deferred prosecution agreement in which he agreed to not deny his responsibility in committing this $4 million fraud. And yet you come here and you say that this is an upstanding citizen, blah, 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 blah. Well, let me tell you something. He's done nothing good, at least for Hialeah, because he is one of the people responsible for displacing dozens, if not hundreds of families for his Pura Vida development, which I don't want to tell you what that development is being called because it's embarrassing, but when you say embarrassing, I completely agree with you, but embarrassing not for the reasons that you state. Embarrassing that this council, that anyone on this council would vote to confirm such a corrupted person to serve our city so that they can take advantage of opportunities to grab land disguised as some pathetic help. Pathetic is the fact that you tried to demean me when you know all the things that you do. You know all the problems that you create for people to then come to them like a hero, like a savior to bring them the solutions. You know that you go to residents and you lie that there have been violations and report against their homes. So then you can say, you know what, but don't worry, I got it taken care of. So that somehow they feel indebted to you, that they owe you a favor. Tundidor, I am not some stupid person that you can come here and you
Okay.
can call pathetic.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
spoke everything you wanted to speak and you're going to listen to me. I don't know who you think I am because individually I'm nobody, but I was elected to represent the people of Hialeah. Thousands of people trusted me and thousands of people were very unhappy, displeased, disappointed, and betrayed by the former councilwoman Casal Munoz. And you know, that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes because everyone put together that backed that person wasn't able to save that election for her. You know what that means? That means that the power of the people united is stronger than the will of any one person or any small group of people. So you will not, you hear me, call me pathetic because you are pathetic, sir. You're pathetic and you're an embarrassment.
That was great. Thank you. So, do we have any other new business? All right, let's move on to, planning and zoning.
Will all those persons who will be testifying on an item, please stand and raise your right hand.
Las personas que quisieran prestar sus opiniones delante de esta junta, por favor, pónganse de pie y alcen la mano derecha.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. If so, say I do.
Usted jura o afirma que el testimonio que va a dar será la verdad, toda la verdad y únicamente la verdad y que Dios sea su testigo. Por favor, diga que sí si la respuesta es afirmativa.
Let the record reflect that all have responded in the affirmative.
En el archivo público constará que todos han respondido afirmativamente.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance rezoning property from R2 1 and 2 residential district to B1 highly restricted retail district. Granting a variance permit to allow 100% of the units with an area less than 850 square feet, where 850 square feet is the minimum area required, and only 10% of the units may have an area of 600 square feet. Allow 16 parking spaces where 32 parking spaces are required, and a variance to waive the building mass requirements, all in contrast to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-1630.2, 98-2189, subsection 16A, and 98-1630.3, subsection C. Property located at 3670 East Fourth Avenue, Hialeah, and legally described herein, zoned R2 1 and 2 Family District within Area 2 of the NBD Overlay District. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective deed.
All right, this item's on PZ2. Do we have any public comments online?
No, sir.
Do we have any in the chamber? All right, what's the pleasure of the council?
Motion.
Well, motion by the vice president. Do we have a second by Rodriguez?
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo. He is away. Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
All right, congratulations. PZ2.
Sir, PZ2 is postponed until March 12th, 2023, 2024, I'm sorry.
Perfect. PZ3.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance granting a variance permit to allow a front setback of 13.5 feet where 20 feet are required. In contrast to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-1553, subsection D3I, and to allow a setback of 1.16 feet along southeast 9th Court where 10 feet are required. In contrast to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-1553, subsection D3 III, property located at 955 Southeast 12th Street, Hialeah, legally described herein, Zone TOD, Transit Oriented District. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, this item's a second reading. Do we have any public comments online?
No, sir.
Any in the chamber? Go ahead, sir.
Hi, Jose Alzi, 788 Southeast Park Drive. Yeah, I live like 3 blocks from here. I support this item, but proceed with caution. This whole area is like incredible boom. Not just because of the proximity to the South Beach, or I've talked about before, downtown, but now the new Messi Stadium is being built. We're 2 miles north of that stadium, and that area is gonna be way more popular soon, and you can make it, I said, you can make that into a Wynwood, or you could let it like run down. Mr. Manny he does great I'm not picking this, but I'm just saying be cautious with that area. I want to share an experience. So last Monday, the DOT is doing a project 3 blocks from there that they're gonna do a ramp over Okeechobee Road. They're gonna do a ramp from the 112 that's gonna go over Okeechobee Road into Okeechobee. And they're gonna do a ramp from the 112 over Miami Springs that's gonna land into 36th Street. There was 50 people in the meeting. We didn't have any representative. It was me and the guy from M&M against 50 Miami Springs residents that are opposing the ramp going in 36th Street. I'm asking you to like, they listen to me when I tell them, look, we're not representing here. There's only two people from Hialeah here. And you have the mayor, the Miami Springs City Council, Miami Springs resident, they were prepared. You could tell they were like, and it's very common in the United States where communities that are more affluent, that are prepared, that are ready, they could call, this is a huge project. They could call this project to be veered into Hialeah. We get all the obstruction, we get all the traffic, and that's like a 3-4 year construction. I don't even know, maybe more years than that. And if we don't chime in, I mean, I'm like right there. If we don't chime in, we're gonna get the short end of it. And this is very, very, very common with every community like us, where we're next to an affluent community. Those 50 people can make a move. But they listened to me. They said next meeting they're gonna do it in Hialeah. All the Department of Transportation was there. The company building the project was there, and the marketing company was there, and they all agree, yeah, you need to be more represented. So I hope when they come to Hialeah, they are gonna reach out to you again. Please represent us, and that area is like, they call that the Iron Triangle because so much stuff is going on there. And last but not least, Kevin Cabrera is gonna host a seminar here for cultural arts and for the Department of Human Services. They have $160 million budget. Our access to that is a Blanche Morton Center across from the Hialeah Post Office. They have hardly nobody there, but no services. But Commissioner Rene Garcia and Commissioner Kevin Cabrera are really looking into this. Of the $19 million in arts grant, they only give us $50,000. And they've been listening to me. I've been working on this for a whole year. I hope that you can make it next Thursday, March 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. There's millions of dollars there that hope you make it, hope you contribute. And Kevin Cabrera and Rene Garcia are doing a lot. So if you have any questions, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Was any other public comments?
Motion.
We have a motion by the Vice President.
Second.
We have a second by Rodriguez. Call the roll.
Thank you, Pepper.
Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo is away. Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you. Thank you. PZ4.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance granting a conditional use permit pursuant to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-181, to allow a K through 5th grade elementary school with a maximum capacity of 54 students in conjunction with a 77 children daycare, and a variance permit to allow 53 parking spaces where 62 parking spaces are required, in contrast to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-2189, subsection 9, property located at 1301 West 68th Street, Hialeah, Zone C1, Restricted Retail Commercial District, legally described herein. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Caesar, this isn't the one on Palm, no?
No, this is not the one. The one on Palm's coming, the first meeting in March.
Okay, got it.
This is
Okay.
the one on 68th Street, which is self-contained.
Okay, perfect. All right. Do we have any public comments? This is second reading.
No, sir.
None online, none in the chamber. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion.
Motion by the Vice President.
Second.
We have a second by Rodriguez. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Calvo is away. Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you.
FD1.
Proposed resolution approving the final decision of the Planning and Zoning Board Decision Number 2024-02, granting a rear setback of 15.61 feet where 20 feet are required for a proposed addition. Property located at 218 East 50th Street, Hialeah, zoned R1, one family district, and providing for an effective date.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion.
Motion by the Vice President,
Second.
second by Rodriguez. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Calvo is away. Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Perfect. FD2.
Proposed resolution approving the final decision of the Planning and Zoning Board, Decision Number 2024-03, granting a rear setback of 7 feet where 20 feet are required for an existing metal roof to be legalized. Property located at 1495 West 75th Street, Hialeah, zoned R1, one family district, and providing for an effective date.
Motion.
We have a motion by Vice President.
Second.
We have a second by Councilman Rodriguez. Call the roll, please.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor?
Yes.
And Mr. Calvo? Your vote on FD2, please. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Do you want to get?
Sir,
the-
yes,
yeah.
please. Councilmember Calvo, if I may please record your vote on item PZ1,
PC1 is yes.
PZ3,
PC3, yes.
PZ4,
4. Well, okay, yes.
and FD1.
PC1, yes.
Thank you.
All righty.